Today we're going to be talking about the law of the mirror. Now, this is a lesson that I heard about 5 or 6 years ago, and man, it was convicting, I'll be honest with you. And in fact, the guy who was teaching it wasn't even a Christian. Yet it's all biblical. Have you guys noticed that? All the stuff that even motivational speakers teach, people who are successful in business and all these different realms and arenas, they're all just teaching things rooted in the Bible. They just didn't know it. That's one of the great things about God. He knew what he was doing. He knew the end from the beginning. He set these truths, these principles in place, and they work. They just work. So we're going to talk today about the law of the mirror. But if you're new to the channel, my name is Travis Peters, and I'm going to help 10,000 Christians make $10,000 a month so that they are freed up to focus on the big things that God has called them to do. If you'd like me and my team's help with that, I've got a link in the description below that's going to show you the steps to start taking to becoming what we call a 10K Christian. There's some cool stuff in there. There's some stuff in there you ain't never heard before. It's going to bless you. Click below. It's free. Grab it. Let's start taking those steps. I want to help you become a 10K Christian. Okay, now the law of the mirror. Basically, it's this. Actually, let's just go to the scripture first. It's Matthew 7, 1 through 3. And I'm going to read the scripture, but I want you to stick around it because where I'm going with this is probably not where you think I'm going. All right? In fact, if you stick around to the end of this video, I think you're going to have a new understanding of what you need to do next in life in order to get the next level of results. That's what we talk a lot about on this channel is here. How to win, how to be successful, how to stop being broke, how to stop being average, how to stop being just middle class, lukewarm, meh. Man, we teach you how to win. We teach you how to prosper. We teach you how to increase on this channel. And do it in a way that honors God. All right? We want him looking good, don't we? So let's do this. Let's read Matthew 7. Judge not, that you won't be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged back. With the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. Let's look at another translation. Refuse to be a critic full of bias towards others, and you will not be judged. For you'll be judged by the same standard that you've used to judge others. The measurement you use on them will be used on you. Now, here's what's interesting about the law of the mirror. Let me put it as practically as I can, because sometimes we read scriptures or we hear things and we're kind of like, oh yeah, I don't do that. And then you see it in real life and you're like, oh man, I do that all the time. That's how God always does it to me. I'll read a scripture, I'll be like, oh, I'm good. And then he'll just show me an incident and I'll be like, oh my goodness, I do that. When I was starting out in business online, I guess I was starting out when I got real serious, like 2017, around there. I went through a coaching program. And because we got to invest in ourselves, about this $10,000 coaching program. And one of the things it said you needed to do, they were like, look, your personal Facebook page, you're going to have to give it up and stop showing dinner and cat memes and all this stuff. And it's going to have to become about business. If you want to go to the next level using our strategies, you got to do that. Well, I did everything else they told me to do in the course, but I wasn't going to do that. And the reason I wasn't going to do that is because I'd seen other people who had done that. And I said to myself, I don't want to be that guy. Spammy guy, sleazy guy, talking about his business all the time, talking about results. He's got his customers all the time, teaching things. I don't want to be that guy. I'm just going to keep my social media about fun, friends, and family. Now, you hear that, and it's like, okay, no big deal. I see your point, Trav. I don't want to be that guy either. But listen to my verbiage. I don't want to be that guy. I've instantly judged and critiqued somebody. I was critical. I've judged them by calling them that guy. I've said they are spammy, sleazy, salesy. I don't want to do that. Caveat. One of my favorite books is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. And in that book, the devil reveals his 6 main fears that he uses to control people. And I believe the number one fear, 1 or 2, was the fear of criticism. If I can, this is the devil talking, if I can get you to be afraid of what other people might say or think about you, you won't, in today's language, you won't post that post. You won't make that YouTube video. You won't make that podcast. You won't write that book. You won't go public on whatever. You won't publicly teach and preach and walk in your calling. You won't pursue the sale. Because other people might call you sleazy, salesy, spammy, that guy. And then therefore, you never launch your message. You never launch your business. You never put anything out there to the world that actually helps people. And all you do is just post and repost memes and goofy stuff. That's for someone out there. Someone out there is afraid. You don't have the conviction to sell your thing. You're afraid to be that guy. You're afraid what people might think or say about you, so you're not doing it. Okay. Welcome to the life of average. All right, that's a caveat. Let me get back on track. The point is, that plays in though. The point is, I didn't want to be that guy. So I passed judgment on other people who have done this. Even though they're on to making millions of dollars and having way more impact than me, helping way more people than me, doing more good in the world than I'm doing. And I'm over here being like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be that guy. Well, consequently, I didn't get the results from the course that other people got who followed all the instructions. There's a scripture, I believe in Proverbs 16, that says, those who respect a command will prosper. I don't respect the command. I ain't going to do that. I'll do all the other stuff. Turns out, and this is for someone else too, the exact thing I needed to do was the thing I was judging somebody else for. See, and the enemy will work like this. In order to take my business to the next level at that time, that was the missing piece. I was getting all my traffic from social media. That's where I had my most influence. Yet, I was afraid to do the things I needed to do because I was afraid I'd be judged. I was afraid of criticism. But you're only afraid of criticism if you've been criticizing others in the same way. That's what the scripture means. That's what the law of the mirror is. Everything's reflective. It's all projection. It's all reflection. I've worked with people before. People have asked me this. Travis, your passive income engines, your digital dividend teaching, it is changing so many lives. It's made millionaires. It's helping so many people. Why are you not shouting it from the rooftops? And I had to stop and think about it. And I was like, well, I feel like I kind of am. And then I stopped to think and I'm like, why am I not being louder with this course and this program? It has changed so many people's lives. We have 20-something people who are making 10 grand a month, like right off the bat. And then we have people making 50 grand a month. And then we have people in the $1 Million Club. And we've got people changing lives. And I mean, there's links below if you want to check it out. But there's all kinds of things happening. Why am I not telling everybody? The only reason you wouldn't is the fear of perceived criticism. Which means you're criticizing somebody else who's doing this. So I have to stop. And I have to look. And I have to examine myself and say, where am I judging somebody else? Why am I afraid of being that guy? Why am I afraid of being criticized? Just like the scripture says in Matthew 7. It's because you are out judging somebody. And the measure you use to judge somebody else is the measure it's going to come back to you. Fear, criticism, judgment. This all plays in. It's all projection. So projection is interesting. I had a high-ticket coaching program that I ran about a year ago. And I'll be honest with you, it's not my favorite thing to do a lot of hands-on coaching anymore. I used to do that. I did it for quite a while. It's not my favorite. So I was looking to hire a coach, and I had some people in my circle who are just as good as me, if not better, right? So I was reaching out to them, and I was wanting to hire them to be my coach for my program. But I was projecting a little bit because I'm not excited about coaching like this. So when I was inviting them, I was like, how they're not going to want to do that because this, and all these different reasons. That's projecting. That's how I view it. So I think everyone else is going to view it that way. But you're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. So as I'm talking to him and I found the perfect guy, man, this lit him up. He was like, I'm more fulfilled than ever when I coach. And what's great is you've already accumulated the people. You've already made the sale. I just get to show up and coach. Man, I can walk in my calling. I can walk in my gift. Thank you. He was thrilled. That's something that I wasn't thrilled about. So I was projecting that. I laugh. Here's another example. I joke with my wife because when we're going on date nights, typically she will text the babysitter, text a girl, that sort of thing. So she will text one of our babysitters, but she's almost always hesitant. She's almost like, oh, well, I just feel bad asking. I'm like, feel bad asking? What? That girl on the other side is sitting there thinking, man, she might be praying and believing God for a money-making opportunity. Money might be tight, and she would be thrilled. Not only to hang out with our daughters because they're awesome and fun and funny and great and super well behaved, they're amazing, but also we're going to pay her really well. So remember, there was a time when this babysitting opportunity would have really blessed you. So don't see it as a burden. Well, she's projecting that because she would feel like it was a burden if somebody asked her. Well, yeah, different season of life. Don't project that though. You might be holding back blessing on somebody else because of your own projections. Another example. Here's another buddy of mine, and he's a friend who works with a missions organization. Well, I was like, he talked about partnering with me and basically asking you guys if we could, I could share the details of this missionary organization. It's super awesome. Here's what they're doing. Man, let's ask people to give towards it. And I was like, sure. I run it. My paid group is like super generous. They're all making a ton of money with the digital dividends program, the passive income engines program. So it's like, yeah, perfect fit. Let's do it. Let's shout it from the rooftops. But he's over here and he was like, well, we could call it this and we could do it like this. And we don't need to tell everybody, but just kind of blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, why are you being so quiet about this? Why are you being so weird? Let's just knock this thing out. And let's just be super generous and get this guy a ton of money. Well, I just don't want to make it like this commercial, like we're about him and we're about, this. And I'm like, you're just projecting. You're afraid to sound like that guy who's asking for money. So you're being really quiet and you're not selling this thing. But I hear the opportunity and I'm like, let's sell this thing hard. Are you kidding me? This is going to change lives. Different approach. I don't have that projection issue. Now there's things I have had that issue with, like being that guy when it comes to advertising and talking about my stuff. That's what I'm saying. I worked through that about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's changed my life. I just reframed everything. I'm not selling, I'm just sold, and that's the truth. I'm convicted, especially with our new programs. How much money is making people? How many people are getting set free and quitting day jobs and focusing on their calling? Dude, I'm super convicted. I gotta shout this thing from the rooftop. I will risk being that guy. If you ever fear criticism, you can just stop and say, devil, I see what you're doing. You're trying to get me to not take another step, to not sell this thing, push this thing, promote this thing, because you think I'm gonna back down because I'm afraid of criticism. Well, I'm not afraid of criticism. People can criticize me all they want because I'm changing lives. So I might change 100 people's lives and at the same time get 4 people who call me a name. Guess what? I don't care. I'm out changing lives. You 4 people can call me whatever you want because I know what your life is like. I know the type of fruit you're producing. It doesn't faze me. I remember that specific incident in 2017 when I was looking at my Facebook page and I was just sitting there. I was like, Lord, why is this so hard for me? Why am I struggling with this? Why don't I just do it? What's my hang up? And I started thinking about 2 people, and I don't know why these 2 people came to mind. I was like, what if this person sees my posts and says something? Okay, here's what's funny. All right, of the 2 people, it's not technically not funny because he was my age, but one of them's dead. And I was thinking about him because he was kind of a jerk when he was alive and the stuff he would do and say. And I thought about him And then secondly, it was another person from high school who I don't even talk to anymore. And I was like, wait a minute. See, you guys heard in pretty much all my other videos, you hear me talk about unchallenged beliefs. That's what I'm talking about. I had a belief that somebody would criticize me or what would they think about me, but I never challenged it. I was like, wait, who? What's his name? What's her name? Who would say it? What would they actually say? How would that actually affect you? What would that really do? Could you just block them to never see your posts? Could you just unfriend them if it's that big of an issue? Oh yeah. Duh. You just challenged those beliefs and you find a solution. Most people never challenge them. So examine your life. Most likely, the thing you don't want to do. I'll give you one more. Here's another story. Oh yeah, man, I guess the law of the mirror has been pretty active in my life, huh? All right, so here's another one. Webinars, web classes, master classes. This strategy has changed my life. One of my business mentors is Russell Brunson, and he's built $1 billion company off of webinars. And the concept, you guys have probably been on some of mine. Concept is like I do a master class on something, a web class, we'll call it, and I teach you something. I teach you a new way of making money passively, a new way of investing, a new way of thinking, a new strategy for this or that, a new business opportunity you didn't know existed, and how to make money with it. These are all things I've done, all strategies I've made money with that have made me a lot of money, and then I go and I teach them. And then at the end of those teachings, I say, hey, I've actually put together a step-by-step course. And typically there might be a Facebook group or support or something that goes with it. If you want to learn the ins and outs, the A through Z, step by step on how to actually execute this and run with it so that you can have a business you work from home, or so that you can invest in these things and they create passive income for you. If you'd like to learn exactly how to do it, I've put together a course and a program and a community of support around you to help you win. And then that part is paid. It costs money to come into these things because we put hundreds, if not more, thousands of hours into these things, and man, we build them out and they're awesome and they are changing people's lives. We've got more results and testimonies. I get literal testimonies every single day, usually 2 to 4 new testimonies or case studies come in every day of how many people we've helped and all those sorts of deals. It's awesome programs. Well, that strategy has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't even know. I haven't really counted. $600,000, $800,000, probably something like that. And I'm going to continue to use that strategy. I like it. It's fun for me. I flow with it. It's good. I'm good at them. I enjoy them. People enjoy them. Even if they don't buy my things, they still love coming on these things. They're still awesome. They're still fun. They still learn. And, but at the beginning though, I knew that that was the key to growing a business the way I wanted to grow one online. But I didn't want to do webinars. I didn't want to come across as salesy or sleazy or pushy or whatever I thought people who did webinars were. And I'm thinking through this and I'm like, okay, I went like 2 years without doing one, without starting, even though I knew it was the key to unlocking the next level. And I'm thinking, I'm like, why do I think that? And I thought about a couple of posts who say things like, oh yeah, I don't want to be like Russell Brunson, all hypey. I don't want to be like Russell Brunson going and selling on these webinars. I'm just basically like this thought of like, I'm too classy for that. I'm not going to stoop to that level. Yet at the time, Russell was making hundreds of millions of dollars, and the people saying these things were making like a couple $100,000 probably. Making 200 grand a year and being all critical and judgy and jerky, or making $200 million and helping hundreds of thousands of people and changing lives. Yet why was I listening to this guy? And then I take that perspective on, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't really want to be like that either, yada, yada. Well, when I finally got over myself and realized what I was doing and realized that webinars aren't salesy or pushy, they're helpful. They reveal the value. Like I said, whether people come in and buy my stuff or not, whatever, they still thank me for these classes. They still enjoy them. They're still awesome and helpful and full of value, and they teach. And when I realized, oh yeah, I could just do that with some little Travis flavor. Let's go. Man, the world, it unlocked for me. The new levels opened up. It was fun. And like I said, it was a blessing to people whether they bought it or not. That's fine. But it held me back for years. I was projecting, It's the law of the mirror. I was judging, really. I was being critical. I was criticizing. Shouldn't have done any of those things. So when it came to social media and marketing and advertising, when it came to webinars for me, these were the things that I needed to do in order to take my life and business and my calling really to the next level, my next level of impact. Well, that's why the devil's going to fear you out of it, throw that fear at you, is because that's where your impact is. Man, you get over that fear, who knows how many people you would help. I'm telling you guys, the thing you need to be doing, the thing that's the lid in your life, your money, your business, the thing that you are afraid to do is probably the thing you must do in order to go to the next level. When I gave up my Facebook page and turned it into more talking about business, it was 95% business, not throwing some family stuff every now and then. Here's what happened. Nothing. Nothing as far as criticism goes. Nobody noticed it. Nobody, zero people were like, Travis's Facebook page changed. All that happened where people started thanking me. People started reaching out to me and asking how they could work with me. More money started coming in, more sales calls, more clients. Literally everything the program said would happen happened when I followed the instruction. My fear of criticism never came to fruition. Now, have I been criticized? A ton. You guys are on my YouTube channel right now or my podcast. You can probably read the comments and there's probably some haters unless me or one of my assistants deleted them. But there's a lot of Christians, and it's not non-Christians who hate on me, it's Christians, right? Like Travis, God doesn't want us to win. He wants us to live horrible lives and be the peasants that beg and blah, 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 and a bunch of junk. And I'm like, I don't care. People people said things like, I'm going to hell and I'm sending people to hell because I'm teaching Christians about how to succeed financially, right? Like we should prosper so we can help more people. That whole thing. 10,000 Christians making 10 grand a month. That's $100 million a month in the hands of kingdom people. 10 million a month in tithes. 1.2 billion a year into the hands of kingdom people. Like we are helping as a team. We're helping people do that. It's happening. And yet I'm criticized for it all the time. It doesn't faze me anymore. I mean, we got to have thick skin, right? If you're not out on a limb, that's where the fruit is. Out on a limb. We got to go out on a limb. We got to live on the edge a little bit, guys. Like, we can't let stuff like that slow us down or hinder us. I'm getting excited. Somebody watching this, you're afraid to start that YouTube channel, afraid to write that book, afraid to post that post, afraid to do that Instagram story, whatever it is, and you're afraid to do it. You're probably afraid because you are fearing criticism. That is one of the devil's main strategies to hold you back and control you. So you need to recognize it and say, devil, I see what you are doing. You will not win. You will not control me. You will not hold me back from my calling and my destiny, living for God and pushing the kingdom forward. I will do this thing, and I don't fear criticism. There's a couple scriptures that say, what can mere man do to me? If God is for me, who cares who's against me? I'm going to get after it. I got stuff to do and people to help. I got lives to change. I'm going to post that post, make that webinar, start that YouTube channel, write that book, do that thing, preach that sermon. Come on. Let's go. This isn't a dress rehearsal. This is life. We need to have a holy dissatisfaction when it comes to average, when it comes to mediocrity, when it comes to just living a middle-class life. We need to get out there. We need to do some stuff. It's a lot more fun living on the edge. I'll tell you that. I'm having a great time. I'd like you to come with me. I'll put a link in the description below. If you want the steps to becoming a 10K Christian, if you want to learn how to do these things and live this life that you can't wait to wake up for, I can help you with that. We've already done it for thousands of Christians. Let's just make you one of them too. Like I said, it's a great way to live. I love you guys. If you found any value in this, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so that you sign up to see more of these videos. Drop a comment below if you heard something that changed you. I love you. See you in the next video.